Hi, Rachel. We how are you today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Okay, now listen. Now we do a lot of legislation issues when you and I talk, and I know that, for instance, Tennessee has passed many, many, many pieces of legislation which we all enjoy. Now, Kansas, however, tell me a little bit about Kansas and Steve Six.
Sure thing. Well, it seems like we talk about a different state every week, and that's good news because that means that state legislatures are out there passing pro-gun legislation. But in Kansas this week, Attorney General Steve Six concluded that in the state of Kansas, and the way that the law reads, it recognizes non-resident right to carry permits. Now, Kansas already has reciprocity and recognizes the permits of 22 other states. But now if you have a non-resident permit in any of those 22 states, it will then be also recognized in Kansas. This is great news for those who have concealed carry permits. It's great news for folks who travel around the country and want to carry their firearms for self-protection.
Right, and if we wanted a list of those states that have that reciprocity, I'll bet there's somewhere that you can tell me where to find them.
Sure thing. If you have any questions about it, you can go to www.nraila.org, and it'll have a list there of all of the firearms laws from every state, including which states have reciprocity with other states.
Yeah, perfect. I'm kind of expecting, Rachel, I know this is going to happen because I know that you, as well as Chris Cox, are probably already have this on the table somewhere, but some little booklet that we can obtain and put in our cars so we wouldn't, I'll bet that's coming up.
Well, it would be certainly nice to have one of those booklets. I tell you, I get so confused with all of the state laws because every state law is so different. The unfortunate thing about that is the shelf life for one of those books would be about a year because the laws are always changing so much.
Right. As soon as you had it printed, you'd have to print a new one. You're right. It's much easier. That's why we're in the age of computers, to go to your site and find out the latest information.
Absolutely. Come to that site anytime. It's got the latest updates on all of the state and federal legislation.
Okay, good. Now, what other news do you have for us today?
Well, in Arizona, they were up all night. They finished their session about 6 a.m. Pacific time this morning, and they passed out of the state Senate the restaurant carry bill. This will now allow folks who have right to carry permits to carry their firearms in restaurants that serve alcohol. So this is something that's really important. It'll become the 40th state to allow this, and we're really excited about this kind of legislation. This is a repeat of what happened in Tennessee just a few weeks ago. They also passed their restaurant carry bill, so that's good news. But in addition to that, we're also sending two other bills to the governor's desk. One is a defensive display bill, which would allow folks to have the freedom, if they feel like they're being threatened, to have a defensive display of their firearm to prevent any sort of violence to occur. So that's something really great for concealed carry permit holders or those who carry firearms for protection. In addition to that, parking lot bill passed and is also being sent to Jan Brewer's desk. And that bill would allow you, if you are traveling to and from work, or say you go hunting before work, you would be able to store your firearm in your locked car on publicly accessible parking lots, which would include employer parking lots.
Oh, now that's an important bill. How many of those? How many other states have a parking lot bill? That one is pretty interesting.
I believe that about, I want to say that there's 25 other states.
Okay.
I need to check my notes on that and come back to you. But about 25 other states have these parking lot bills, I believe. And I will check on that and update you on that one next week.
Okay.
But this is a really important bill, and we've been pushing this bill since 2005 all across the country. Florida was the first to get these parking lot bills on the books, so we're using their model and pushing it across the country.